Hello! You're probably expecting our round 2 on Dancing with the Stars and Rutherford Falls, which would normally be in this space, but that darn Dancing with the Stars is doing a 2-nighter this week, and therefore we are going to bring you our thoughts on both nights tomorrow, and today you get our round 3 complaining episode a day early. Yay! Who couldn't use some complaining just really every day of the week?
All right, welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of October 17th. I'm Nicole Erdix, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
And Terry Morrow.
Hello.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes worrying about something or other. Today, we are complaining about almond mums. So,
first we're explaining what almond moms are, however, right?
Yeah. Recently, I noticed there is a new type of mom that has come to the forefront on social media.
Alrighty.
Has become
on TikTok,
the latest.
especially, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You know how much we love those new ways to describe parents.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Slap a label on it.
Yes.
But this one's pretty accurate, and I speak from experience.
Okay.
Because not me personally, but I did grow up with one of these, and that is, drumroll please, the Almond Mom. Now, you may be wondering what an Almond Mom is.
Yes.
Anybody want to take any guesses before I enlighten you?
I would be an Almond Joy mom. Is that an option? Is that a variation?
Hickory smoked, salted, sweetened, roasted almond.
Honey roasted almond mom. All right. I'd go for that, but I think that's not what we're talking about.
It's not what we're talking about. No, we are talking about those mothers who are perpetually concerned about their weight and their appearance, and they diet constantly. They grow alfalfa sprouts in their cupboards. These are the moms that will have one almond for lunch and claim that she's full. Like, we are talking about, and the moms who are just constantly obsessed with this, and it trickles down, of course, to their children. And,
right.
You know, everything about somebody becomes about their weight and their appearance and what they could be doing to be healthier. These are the moms that will walk 10 flights of stairs instead of taking an elevator. These are the moms that, you know, want to get out and get out at like 7 a.m. for a brisk walk around the block while you would prefer to sleep in because you're 16 years old and you you biologically need your sleep. So yeah, these moms are pretty hardcore in a lot of respects. Like they do model, for the most part, you know, some good behaviors, some good health behaviors, but it can also go downhill very, very quickly fast and go in the wrong direction. So, yeah. So now, are either of you an almond mom or know of an almond mom? Or, you know, I grew up with an almond mom. It was a very interesting environment. And she did prefer her almonds, actually, which was so interesting. Because she actually did eat a handful of almonds and claim that she was full. So anyway,
yeah,
that's my experience.
If you were asking my daughter this question, she would say that yes, I am, because we've had a lot of discussions about weight in the last, for quite some time. And I am often on diets because I like to stay in a certain weight range, and it's hard to stay there because I'm a tiny person. And I can eat more than an almond, but if I eat everything that I would love to eat, my weight goes up pretty quick. And she's, I think, needing to maybe pay more attention to that. And I have many long and informed discussions with her, which she does not appreciate. So it's been a subject of contention in our house for quite a while. And of course, her dad has opinions too on it. And so we do talk about it too much, except that it's a health issue. It's still a health issue. I know we're not supposed to say anything about weight anymore, and it's bad, but it's still a health issue. I rest my case. But anyway, I do definitely eat more than one almond. I eat a respectable amount of food, but as a 4'9" person, the respectable amount of food is not that much. I have very little leeway. So,
yeah, it's. I would say that at this time, my mom is health conscious, but not in a like, here's what other people should do kind of way. And not super in a dieting kind of way. But like has her preferences and those preferences tend to be lots of fruits and vegetables and fish and that kind of thing. And I, for myself have done Weight Watchers in the past, but, basically tried to be like, this is just something I'm doing, But yeah, it's, I definitely see, the challenges to it from both sides, right? I mean, like, as Nicole has explained, it's not comfortable for a child to be necessarily exposed to like a constant barrage of messages about their parents' body and their own body, right? But at the same time, I mean, I don't want to see my kids be unhealthy or struggle because of what they're eating. So
fortunately, it was never an issue when my daughter was young. It's now as a young adult that it's become an issue, I think. She goes back and forth as to whether she thinks that or not.
Right.
I think she goes back and forth depending on whether she would like to eat something that's full of calories or not. So she's going to do really good. She's going to do really good, but I really want that cake, so no. Anyway, she's in many ways she's trying. She's doing exercise, and it annoys her that we're so onto it. But on the other hand, we have absolutely no information about her her parents' medical background, her birth parents. There could be diabetes in the family. We don't know that.
Right.
And so therefore, I would say try to not gain a bunch of weight. But
see, and I come from a world where it doesn't matter what you put in your mouth, you're going to gain weight. like my family comes from hearty German stock. we were meant to go, actually Scottish and Irish, so think potato famine. So we were meant to go for, weeks on end without proper nutrition. Our bodies stored that. So I kind of I feel there is actually a huge genetic component that is not talked about because of diet culture. And I mean, I can't remember where I was talking to a doctor, and I don't remember who it was or when it was, but he was claiming that 70% of weight is genetics. So you can totally want my kids to be healthy. I want to be healthy. But then at some point you're like, okay, I'm also working against genetics here. So what can I do?
And also, there's a mental health component to it as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's so complicated.
Right.
Because, you want your kids to be healthy, and because we equate healthy with happy.
Well, yeah.
Right?
But also we equate healthy with
not
your dad
having
and I
a
are going to be
disease.
are going to be old in not all that very long a time, and we would prefer you to be able to take care of us. Or we will not be able to take care of you if you have health problems. It's annoying, and I'm trying not to do it, but it's ingrained in me to some degree.
I did have one of my kids come to me recently and say, and this is a kid who let's just say the BMI is elevated. That is a measure that is not necessarily the best one to use, but blah, blah, blah. Anyway, came to me and said that they had been doing some research, and what did I think about the Mediterranean diet? And I said, oh, that is an excellent, way to eat. And because it is, it's not a diet. It's not a weight loss plan. It's a heart health kind of situation that has a sort of side result, possibly, of weight loss, just depending on how much of a change it would be from your current diet. So we had a good conversation about it, about like, what are the kinds of foods?
Right.
And the questions were like, well, is this allowed? Is that allowed? And I kept saying, like, anything's allowed. It's not, there's not rules like that. It's, instead of, white bread, try to have whole grain bread or other whole grain foods, instead of hamburger, try to have fish or whatever. So we talked a lot about that, and I was glad that it was something that the kid initiated, not me, and they had already done some research, and they weren't coming to me saying like, I've heard about this grapefruit diet, should I try it?
I went on that once. I was on that diet. The Scarsdale diet.
Yeah.
Yes. I grew up with that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did that when I came back from Europe, having been on the bread and Nutella diet for 2 months. And I did lose the weight, but man, is that a miserable diet.
Yeah, that's not healthy for your body.
My mom was on that more times than I can count.
Yeah. Grapefruit and fish pretty much was it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was... That was handy for me because, but that also just kind of shows you that, the kid was thinking about it, right?
Right.
Like, they didn't need me to come to them and say, like, maybe you could think about making some changes. They were initiating it, so.
Right.
That was nice.
And we actually took that a step further, Catherine, because we had a similar situation with a child, both children actually, who were interested in what they were eating. And so there is such thing as nutritional therapists or nutritional counselors. We know that there's nutritional counselors, but
like a dietitian or some...
They're a dietitian combined with a therapist.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So my child explored this avenue and has since been in contact and is learning all of these nutritional things from somebody else. So she's not hearing it coming from me, right? Where it's like going in one ear and out the other, but learning how to eat for their own health and body type and health issues and whatever. So I don't know. There's a lot of value in that. I wish I had known a lot of that stuff when I was younger.
Yeah. My daughter's talking to a nutritionist, and the nutritionist is giving her good advice, some of the same stuff like you talked about, Catherine. And, she'll come to me and explain all these things that she's doing. And it's great. She stopped eating hamburgers at work. That's great. And, she says, eat the wheat bread. She gets the wheat bread for herself and she eats it. And if she were in her own house, her own apartment, that'd be great. But she's here, and so we see everything that she eats, and we see the, 2 tablespoons of butter on top of the wheat toast, and we see the honey roasted almonds next to her desk in her room, and we see these drinks she gets that are just full of calories. And it's hard not to say anything.
Sure.
It's really hard. I tell my husband to shut up, don't bother her, don't say anything, and then I say it, so she's mad at me. It's hard not to, because she'll come in all enthused, like, I'm cutting down in all these ways, and my nutritionist says I'm doing great. And I said, well, did you tell her about this? Did you tell her about the time you ate half the thing of ice cream? Did you tell her about this other thing? So I don't know. Maybe I am an almond mom. I'm not a 1 almond a day mom, but I am definitely a, sure you want to eat that?
A handful of almonds.
Yeah.
Sure you want that almond? No.
Yeah.
Here, have an almond.
Almonds are delicious. I eat like yogurt and fruit every day. That is my lunch. Every day. Yogurt and fruit. So I don't know if that's setting up a mom's weird vibe with my kids. But I like it. It's tasty.
Why would that be weird?
There's a lot of fruit. And there's some nuts. And there's a rice cake with margarine on the side. So.
Okay, that part is weird.
Okay, that's where I draw the line.
But delicious. It's like popcorn. Oh, well. It's
fraught. That's the term we like to use.
Very fraught. And there's no good way to go about it.
Right.
Except to move out of your parents' house, which is what I personally did. And then nobody can see what I'm eating.
That's right.
I ate a lot of Spam in college.
See, and the minute I moved out of my Almond Mom's house, I went totally the opposite direction.
Right. That's the big, that is definitely a thing.
There were so many restrictions in my childhood that the minute I got my own money and the minute I got my, some freedom, I was like anything and everything. And it was fine for my 20s. Yeah. Because my body was handling that, but then it quickly could not. And things went downhill fast.
I think that's a big drawback of the Almond Mom thing when you're a little kid. When you have a little kid, because
trust me, they're gonna
just because it's harder for them to learn,
Yeah, and there's so many psychological issues associated with that. Those restrictions, right?
Right.
So anyway,
I don't know.
Try not to be an Almond Mom. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and if you have issues about stuff and you don't feel like you're doing it right, just listen to our podcast, because we'll tell you all the ways we're doing it wrong. And you'll feel better about yourself, and you won't have to eat that chocolate bar you've been hiding in the back of the refrigerator. It'll be fine. Okay, that's it for today's Tuesday round 3. It's so confusing this week, you guys. Tune in tomorrow for round 2, where we'll talk about Dancing with the Stars and Rutherford Falls. We blame you, Tyra. We are shaking our fist at you. We know you did this to us. So then on Thursday, we'll obsess about gift-giving occasions. Yes. And then on Friday, you'll see what we come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Mine involves cursing, which is pretty much the way I'm feeling right now. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.